Chapter 3, Section 4, Solving Two-Step and Multi-Step Equations. Our objective is to solve inequalities that contain more than one operation. The inequalities that contain more than one operation require more than one step to solve. Use inverse operations to undo the operations in the inequality one at a time. Let's look at an example. Write this in your notebook. 45 plus 2b is greater than 61. Here's our variable b. 2 is being multiplied by b, and then 45 is being added to it. Since the last operation is 45 being added to it, we're going to take or undo that part first. We're going to do that by subtracting from both sides. So we have 2b is greater than 16. Now b is being multiplied by 2. So we're going to divide by 2 to undo that operation. And b is greater than 8. Because this is a greater than sign, we have an open circle. And b is greater than, so it's larger than 8. Second problem. In this case, we have y times 3, and then that is being subtracted from 8. So the last step is the 8, so we're going to undo that first. Since this is a positive 8, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. So we have minus 3y is greater than 21. Now, we need to undo that multiplication, so we're going to divide. And remember, when you divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number, this inequality flips or changes. So we're going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. The inequality changes and points a different direction. So y is now less than or equal to negative 7. By negative 7, it is a closed circle because of the less than equal than sign. And we're going to shade to the left. Now sometimes, as the inequalities get more complex, you may need to first simplify the expressions. And we're going to do a couple examples showing that. To simplify, we use order of operation, combining like terms, and or using distributive property. Okay. Let's go ahead and solve this inequality and then graph the solutions. Write this down in your notebook. And as you see, the first step is we have two negatives right in a row here. So we need to combine those. So we have 2 plus 10, which is 12, and that is greater than negative 4, t. Now, t is being multiplied by negative 4, so we need to divide by negative 4. And when we divide by a negative number, you're right, we got to flip that sign, that inequality. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 4 and flip that inequality. And as you see, negative 3 is less than t, which also means that t is greater than negative 3. And in both cases, t is larger than negative 3, so we're going to shade the sides that's larger. Here's your third example of the complex problems. And in this one, we're going to distribute the negative 4 throughout the parentheses. So we have negative 4 times 2, and negative 4 times negative x is less than or equal to 8. When you do this, you see that negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 4 times negative x is positive 4x. And that's less than or equal to 8. Since we have negative 8 to get rid of, we're going to add 8 to both sides. Let's to get rid of this. So we have 4x is less than or equal to 16. X is being multiplied by 4, so we divide both sides by 4. Notice, because I'm dividing by a positive number, I am not flipping this inequality. I'm keeping it the same. So x is less than or equal to 4. Close circle at the 4 because of the equal sign that's included in our less than sign. And shade the numbers that are less than 4. We had quite a bit of problem with these when we worked with them earlier. So please write this down and pay attention. We're going to look for the lowest common denominator of 3 and 2 and 3, because if we multiply everything by that, we can get rid of our fractions and only have to work with whole numbers. For 3 and 2, the lowest common denominator is 6, so we're going to multiply everything by 6. When we multiply 2/3 by 6, let me get my pen here. Not working. There we go. We're going to multiply everything by 6, and we can do some canceling here. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 2 times, so this becomes a 2. 2 goes into itself 1 time, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 3 goes into itself 1 time, 3 goes into 6 2 times. I did some canceling there. 2 times 2 is 4f. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Now we look at our equation and we see that 3 is being added to both sides. To undo that, we're going to subtract it. So we have 4f is greater than -1. This is where you need to be a little bit careful. We're going to isolate the f by dividing by 4 because 4 is multiplying the f. Even though there's a negative sign in here, we are actually dividing by a positive, so the inequality will not change. Notice here we divided by 4. That's what we're supposed to do, but the inequality is not going to change because the 4 is a positive. That's what we're dividing by. So f is greater than -1/4. So we will shade our dot. Uh-oh, look at here, there's a mistake. This should not be a closed dot. This should be an open circle because there's not equality. So that is an error. Because of this, this is wrong. This should be an open circle. And f is greater than that, so it's on this side. Last example. We have a certain vehicle that is going to charge us $55 a day, or we can rent a different vehicle that's similar to it but different at We Got Wheels for $38 per day plus 20 cents per mile. We want to know at what point is the cost at Rent-A-Ride less than the cost of We Got Wheels. So let's let M represent the number of miles. Rent-A-Ride was $55, and that must be less than the daily cost of We Got Wheels plus the 20 cents per mile. So we're going to take the 20 cents per mile and multiply that by M for miles. So this is your equation. 38 is being added to both sides, so we're going to subtract it to undo it. That's a 38 we're subtracting, not 8. Subtract 38 from both sides. Subtract 38 from this side, we get 17. And on the right, we get 2/10 m. Divide both sides by 2/10, or 20/100. Same thing. And you get m is greater than 85. So Rent-A-Ride costs less when the number of miles is more than 85 miles. M is greater than 85. Do not have to write the check down. Please take a look at it though. We just throw the 85 back in for the M, multiply it through, and see that it is true. To do a check for a number greater than 85, we've picked 90 here. Multiply it through and see that it is true. That's it. I'll see you in class tomorrow.